So what did you do with him yesterday?
We rode him like we did when you were out. We rode him out there actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
How did he care at all?
no, he was pretty good.
That's awesome.
All in all, he was much more forward, off my leg, listened better, warmed up a little quicker, which was nice. Yeah, no, it was good. Softer. Yeah, everything was just a little softer.
You see all that stuff on the deck?
Yeah, is that everything she brought up?
Yeah, I didn't know what to. I figured at least like make $40. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
He seems way softer to me getting started than he has been some of the times in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, all of that attitude will go away.
Do you think a month is enough, or do you typically do more?
Depends, I want to see you on him, and maybe one of these days you can come out earlier in the day where you can do some round penning.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, you can kind of do all of this. Jess can give you, like, Jess can watch you, and so maybe do that next time you come out. And yeah, I mean he'll be good. We just want to make sure you have the skills that if he's not getting work 5 or 6 days a week, that you have the skills to kind of remind him why he has to behave and listen and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I want to make sure I have that down solid
Yeah, we
too.
don't want you to have to bring him back at the end of the winter because he's had time off or.
Do you have a round pen at home or?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
We do.
Amazing, yeah.
It's outdoors, and
Yeah.
for the most part, the footing's pretty good. If it rains a lot or something.
Yeah, yeah. If it's really muddy or something, but. He's one of the few that doesn't seem to mind the sheep. We got a couple of sheep on Sunday. So,
I saw that when I was leaving
yeah,
the
some
last
little
time.
foxes are like,
Yeah, there's no sheep where he is.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's ever.
Yeah.
I got him when he was 2, so I don't.
Yeah. Yes, we might not have been around him. But he doesn't seem to mind.
I mean, that was cool. It just seemed like as you walked away, he looked towards you to see
Yeah.
what you wanted.
Yeah, everything's just a little softer. So really, there's no reason to send him off because he's done everything I asked. He's done nothing wrong. He's soft. So that's kind of our indication that he doesn't need that work to become motivated. If we get on and he's a jerk or we can't tell him what to do, or then we can always get off and do it. But this is about as soft as he's been. without the warm-up, which is nice.
It's wonderful.
Because again, you don't want to tire him out to get on the ride, and that's counterproductive. So again, right there, I can stop. Now, if he walks up again, I won't give him the option of backing out. I'm just going to send him up. So I don't want him to step off when I go to get on. So we get all the way to the mountain for him to say, I don't think I want to do this. And I could have held his reins and made him stay, and that's maybe what you're going to do when you get him home and ride him, but then you're always doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to remind him to stand. That's a little nicer. Now I could ride off now, or I could dismount and praise him, and then make sure I can get that consistently.
So if I'm riding in the arena and I don't have my arena at home and I don't have a mounting block, don't have a round pen,
Yep.
would it be as effective if he stepped off to just get off and back him?
Yeah, you just probably, I would have to do that like 3 times compared to the 1 time sending him up.
Okay.
Like if I had just backed him again, he's gonna get better. But it's just not gonna be as meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cantering around the ring 3 times was meaningful, he had to work.
Mm-hmm.
The backing wasn't as meaningful. But what I would have done is I had to do it a second time, I would have been back further and harder. So I wouldn't have just backed in 2 or 3 steps or 4 or 5 steps. I would keep progressively backing him harder and longer until he chose to stand. And again, probably be 2 or 3 attempts versus 1.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you would just back him up. And then do it until you get it a couple times where he's a little bit softer. Out there and right him out there. Boop. 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 So the only difference between the round pen and out here is, out here I can't control every little thing that happens. So if I'm riding out here with another horse, so I'm just at the mercy of my environment a little bit more. So if I feel like he's doing perfect in my controlled environment, then we come out here, and there's just going to be more distractions and more things that I don't have complete control over. And that's what we want to get to, where we're riding in places where there's more things that could happen, if at any point he was so naughty out here that I felt I needed to get back to my completely structured setting, we would ride him in there. So the round pen's a good place to warm up, a good place to get them engaged. So you don't want to stay in the comfort of your round pen, you definitely want to, eventually want to be outside trail riding, where now we're at the mercy of nature and wild animals and things like that. But it's that gradual release of kind of your support system. So in here I still have a little bit of control. You want to call Jay and just see if he thinks he's had a chance to look at the black truck? He thinks it's going to be ready today or tomorrow. And then we're always going to start with what we know we can ask him to do. So we're already just kissing. We've lost that bump or that. We don't need that bumper kick to get the trot. It's just that baby squeeze and kiss. No more attitude. Head didn't go back. He didn't flip his tail. And again, my hands are in a position where when I make a fist with this left hand, if I squeeze those fingertips, I can get that reaction. So it's just with that hold of those fingertips. Let my legs determine how big I want the circumference of this circle to be. If I want to make it bigger, my inside leg just makes that circle bigger. My outside leg can close that circle. Do you ride it mostly Western or English?
English.
So we can start playing with this gait and say, do I want a bigger gait? I'm going to bump until I get a bigger stride. But again, I'm going to bump. He's got to get to where I'm not bumping. So if I have to bump, it's bump until I get that bigger stride. And then I take that bumping up. But you should start playing with his gait, where just because you ride in English doesn't mean he always has to trot big. You can slow your focusing down, or you can sit and really tell him. So again, when you ask for a trot, have a predetermined how much trot you want. Kind of the same thing with your turns, where you're not just using the wall. You figure out when you want them to turn and then ask you. So I can turn them early, I can turn them late. But it should be always me kind of telling them. I want to exaggerate that inside bend. So when you want that bigger trot, ask with just your posting and your voice first, and then let your legs come in if you're not getting it. Once I'm sure he knows that lateral bending, then I can start asking him to start giving vertically where I can hold with both hands. And I'm not going to give that. I'm going to drive him up onto that bit. I'm not going to give that until he gives me his head. If he goes halfway around the ring and doesn't give, I'm just going to go back to my inside leg. So when his head comes up, I'll hold, drive, and see if I can't get that face to drop into my hands, and as soon as it does, I release. Heads up again, I can hold. Keep holding. Ever drop so slightly, I give back. So he doesn't have to keep it there, he just has to put it there for a second, and that's his reward. I want a reward every time he gives back to my hands. So I'm going to hold, hold and drive. So my legs are pushing him up to the bit. I'm not pulling his face down. There he goes. Don't think of it as pulling his face down. I want to drive him up onto the bit. So my hands just say don't go any faster. And my leg drives. Hold. And drive. So he doesn't get that release until he drops that face into my hands. Hold. So I call this a half halt, but I have reservations using that term because for a lot of people a half halt is hold and release, hold and release.
Mm-hmm.
I don't release until they give me a behavior that is worthy of a release. So my whole thing says change behavior, and I release when he gives that face to me. So I hold and drive him forward until he gives. And then it's up to you to decide where he gets the release. So where do you want his head? Again, if he fought and I couldn't get it, I would just go back to one of these. Because I can get this. At the end of the day, if he fights me, I can get an inside bend. And after he puts out this inside bend, his head comes down. So this is a battle I can win physically if he's fighting me. If he fights me with the vertical headset, it's not something I can make him do. But again, I'm not pulling, I'm not yanking. It's hold until he gives it. And every time he gives it, he earns the release. Hold, drive, hold and drive. So my legs are saying, don't stop. Thank you. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. And what you should find is everything we got around pen, we should be able to get out here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not teaching them anything new yet. We're just hitting what we've got in our very structured setting in a less structured setting. And that's why we demand perfection in the round pen. Because if he's not perfect in the round pen, he's going to come out here, and then he's going to be even less than perfect. But if he's perfect in the round pen, then he can come out here, and even close to perfection we can work with.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're barely getting it done in the round pen, then you come out here, and that's when we get hurt. Or like that truck pulled in, that could have been a reason that he said, oh, I've never seen a truck pulling in, and I want to be nice. So kind of the new thing is he's doing it out in the new setting. Again, I'll start with just my one-handed inside bend. I want to be able to see that right eye, and I don't want them to fall in. You said you normally ride it with a prop? I can't remember.
Yeah, I do.
So I'm going to grab a prop just to replicate what you're going to do. And I'm hoping you can start moving away from it, but we'll use it to start. I'm going to let my prop reinforce my inside leg because we're working on this bending. So as I ask him to bend, I want to see his face, but not necessarily have his body fall in. So my prop can push him to the outside of our circle. So it's reinforcing my leg. I put my leg on him first. He doesn't listen. That prop will reinforce my leg. And this is something he did not do well. Like bending to the right was really his. So you've got to feel that body taking lateral steps when you're doing a bending circle. Again, if I just want a circle, it's left leg, let's just get around the corner. So if I wasn't doing bending circles, I'd put the prop on this side and let it reinforce this leg. Say, get off my butt, get off my leg, get off my leg. But because we're working on the bending, we can keep it in that right hand. Now, same thing, I'm going to ask for a bigger shot. If I feel like it doesn't give it to me, then I add the prop. But once I add the prop, make sure you use it until you get that bigger shot.
Okay.
So don't just use it once and then ask again with your legs.
Uh-huh.
Once we get to crop, I'll do it again. So let's pretend right now I was asking with my leg and he's not giving me a bigger trot. I'm going to use the crop until I get a bigger trot. So it stays on until he gives me the behavior and then it comes off. What we see a lot of times is this, where people will go, they'll ask with their legs, they won't get it. They'll say trot, they won't get it. They'll ask with their legs again, then they'll say trot, they won't get it.
Yeah.
And now the horse realizes, if I just withstand one tap, life gets easy again. So once I commit to that prop, he no longer has the luxury of doing it off my legs. It's using the crop until I get that bigger trot. And that's the only way to use an aid effectively, is you use it until you don't need it. So let's say I want a more trot, ask with my legs, I don't get it. And he might get 4 or 5 slaps with the crop until I get that big trot like right there. And then I take it off and he can slow back down. And then I ask him again for that big trot. If he doesn't give it to me off the legs, we use the crop. So it's always progression. But once we get to crop, we use it until we get the desired output. And it's never going to be a slap unless he does something naughty. Like if I tap him and he kicks out, well then you might see me give him a good slap.
Mm-hmm.
If I tap and he really puts his head up and resists and I feel that tail switch, then it could be a little bit more of a slap. And now, because we have been listening to our legs so well, you can almost envision him neck reading pretty soon. And now he's listening to my leg, and I don't need as much hand on him. And you can see compared to watch this video compared to the one you were here Monday, and it's much less leg of me.
Mm-hmm.
I can just put the legs where I want him and ride. If he gets lazy, it's a little squeeze. If he doesn't listen to the squeeze, it's a little tap. But no more of that. Again, if you rewatch Monday's video, no more doing a lot of big kicking on Monday. Because he wasn't moving off that leg as nice as he should.
It is a huge difference from last time. It is a huge difference from last time.
So now we can again start thinking about that lateral work where I'm going to say, leg heel to the wall. He doesn't listen. So again, he's got 4 doors. Front door, back door, left door, right door. My hands start to close that front door. And now the right door is the door that's open. My left leg pushes him through the right. And if I have to use that prop to get his butt over, I can. Here's my left leg. Right leg is off him. And you're ready for getting ready for that Western massage class. Try to go back to the right. So now my hands will close the front door. My right leg will say go to the left. There we go. But it's always leg first. So you can see it gives me like 10% with my leg, and then I get 90% with the crop.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll go to 20% with my leg. It's a little better. That's like 40 or 50%. I don't have to use the crop. I'm slowing down forward motion with my hand. My right leg is pushing him through the left door. And again, that's 99% legs and very little hands. And he's maintaining this beautiful little baby trot. You'll be able to sit to this all day. If you decide you want.
I mean, that in itself is such a big difference, just that he's maintaining the trot.
Yeah, I don't have to keep kicking. And even the stop is much better than we had on Monday. Now I want that turn in the haunches. So I want it to turn back towards the middle. I'm going to open the right leg, so I'm sending him this way. Left leg's on him, and he should pivot on that hind end. If he gets lazy, thank you. Again, my hands just don't let him go forward. I always try to use that crop behind my leg, because I want to kind of send it forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets a little tricky when you're picking up the cannon, because you got to hold your reins and get the crop to his hip if you need it. And so sometimes I'll just put my reins in one hand as I ask that cannon, and then quickly come back up and grab it. And then you can use it at his shoulder. I just don't think it's quite as effective.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I'm looking to send him forward, not drive him back. And again, yesterday we got beautiful camera transitions without it. We'll just see what we get today. So I'm going to kiss, squeeze, give him a second or two.